Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. We want to let you know that we have once again been honored with a nomination for the Hockey Podcast of the Year via the Sports Podcasting Awards. And all you need to do to help us is go to ourkidsplayhockey.com and click on the Vote Now button. It asks you a couple questions. You're in and you're out, and you have voted for us for Hockey Podcast of the Year. I want to thank you all for being a wonderful, wonderful audience and helping us get to this stature of hockey podcasting, because we've done it as a family, as the hockey friends and families around the world. Thanks so much and enjoy this episode of Our Kids Play Hockey. Hello, hockey friends and families around the world, and welcome to another edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. This is a special edition. We have a great guest today. I'm joined, as always, first off, obviously, by my good friends Mike Bonelli and Christy Casciano Burns, who are both not in their normal studios today. If you're watching this, I'm the only one in a studio today, which happens because we're recording this at night. But let me give you guys a little context about what we're doing here tonight. I got an email a couple months ago from a man named Martin, and he said, "Hey, my son is a young entrepreneur, and he's developing a new product, a new base layer. And he asked, hey, is there an opportunity to maybe advertise on the show?" And I said, absolutely not, because I love that your 14-year-old son is an entrepreneur. I love that he's finding ways to be involved in the game outside of just playing. Let's have him on as a guest. And I said, I want to promote him. I want to promote what he's doing. I want to promote everything about this journey that both the father and the son are on. And I want to make it an episode because I think it's important that our audience hears this type of stuff, right? So while we are obviously going to be talking about his product, I want everybody to pay attention to the journey this kid's taken and how he found entrepreneurship and how he found the idea and everything that goes into creating a product, because most of us are business people on this episode as well. But I just found it fascinating that this was the journey he chose. So I want to welcome in our guest today, Martin. He is from the DMV area. He's from Northern Virginia. Martin, it's so great to have you here in Our Kids Play Hockey. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, man. I'm gonna jump right into it with this question. We like I said, we love that you're taking an entrepreneurial journey within the game. But before we dive into that, let's talk about you. How old are you? What team do you play for? How long have you been playing? Tell us about your hockey journey so far.
All right. So my name is Martin, and I'm 14 years old. I'm going to be a freshman next year. I'm currently playing Navy 16U A. It's going to be my first year in 16s. So it's going to be something new for me. And recently I've started Duzter. This has been something that's been going on since January. It's something I'm excited for. And now next year that I'm going into high school and they have a hockey team, hopefully I'll be able to spread Duzter into the local community.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll tell you what's cool. You know, I got a whole bio about you. Like, first off, your father loves you very much, and I love his excitement, not just about Duzter, but just spending time with you. And as a father, I relate to that. I'm sure Christy and Mike, you do as well. But again, your hockey journey has been awesome because your dad told me that you got into it one day, you saw it, and you knew right then, this is my future. And I can relate to that, man, because the first time I got on the ice, I was like, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. Tell us about that. I know you got out to Vegas one year. Just tell us about the time in the game just a little bit.
All right. So that was, I was around 7 years old. I was in the Boy Scouts and we're doing a little bit of a field trip to the Navy college game. And I knew what hockey was, didn't necessarily watch it. I went there, we were banging at the glass, and that was just something I really wanted to do. Seeing the concession stand, you know, the music, the atmosphere. I knew that was something I wanted to do. So 2 weeks later, I got on the ice, and about 2 months later, I had the hockey equipment and started playing.
Right. It's infectious, right? And the reason I want to bring that up is because that's one of the things that everyone who listens to the show is going to share, right? The love for the game. And I think anytime you jump into an entrepreneurial journey, in fact, I know this, to be successful, there has to be this passion behind it, right? All of the ventures I've seen in my life that don't work, it's because there's no passion behind it. It's either just based on money or it's based on some sort of one-upping or misplaced priorities, I'd say. But that's not true for you. And again, I love the story behind Duzter. And by the way, we're going to explain what Duzter is in a minute. But tell our audience, what is the product? Why did you create it? And obviously, what's different about it than other things? Because there is a story behind this, and there's a reason about why this came to be.
Right. So Duzter came up in the beginning of this hockey season. There were some accidents with skates, and sadly, there was one that's fatal. And during that time, my old hockey club sent out an email to parents recommending the shirts with cut resistant and neck guards. There's shirts that come with that, and there's them separate. And so my parents followed the link. It was a shirt that had cut resisted, but it was $120. It was only adult sizes.
Wow.
That's something, not only is it expensive, but me barely being able to have the small, just peewees and squirts, and other kids who just can't have it because it's only adult sizes. And the neck guard was around $20. And the shirt was okay, but it didn't feel like a compression shirt. It was just a normal shirt with cut resistant wear. So ever since that time, where I used to play, it was an hour away from where I live.
Right.
And in the weekends, we would have long drives. That's when my dad and I would be brainstorming with the time we had, and we were doing that because the neck guard and the shirt were okay, but it was expensive, and we wanted to put a change in that. And so then one day, actually, it was the day of the Super Bowl. That's when we came up with what we wanted to do with Duzter. We came up with the name, and that's when I started doing designs for Duzter. So for the next couple of weeks, I was putting in designs of what I wanted it to look like, what I wanted it to include. So then that's when we started. My dad was able to find suppliers, and we found a supplier in the Czech Republic, but they had factories in Russia, and with the war going on, we didn't want to be a part of that, and he just closed his factory in general. So we found another supplier in Asia, and so then we sent my designs there. And the thing about it was that the supplier makes stuff for other hockey brands. So when we saw that, we knew that we had an opportunity for good quality and something that's really nice to wear on the ice. So and after that, we've just gotten samples. I have the shirt right here. So this is Duzter Armor. This is with the cut resisted, the arms and at the neck. And when you put on the shirt, you don't really have to pull down. I know there's some shirts with neck guards that are tight, but when I wear it, I honestly don't realize that I have the neck guard. It's really comfortable. And the shirt, it has silicone, so your pads don't fall off, nice cut resistant. And something that this doesn't have, well, something that this has that other brands don't have is its compression shirt. It looks small, but when you have it, it's compression. It feels good when you're ice. You also have the Duzter Armor pants, the long ones, which has the Velcro for your socks. Personally, this is the most important thing for me for my socks. And something that we have original, it's the cut resistant for the back. We're trying to prevent injuries from the Achilles. Obviously, your skate has protection on the back, but when you fall, accidents may occur, but we're just trying to prevent that. And we have here the waist so it doesn't fall off. So that's Duzter Armor. We also have skins, and if you're listening to us, make sure you check out the website to see all the products.
Buddy,
all right. So when you were
it.
designing this, because one of the things that with my kids anyway, they didn't like the feel of the neck guard on the neck, and I'd have to fight with them all the time to wear the neck guards, and other kids wouldn't wear it because they didn't think it looked cool. So I'm sure you had all that in mind as you were designing this, right? So tell me how that played a huge factor in your designs.
That played a huge factor because when the thing was going on, it's really what you said. My teammates, they didn't like the neck guard. Personally, for me, in the past, when I went to Canada one time and the neck guards are a thing there, it's required. And for me, it was just uncomfortable. And for Duzter, I wanted to make sure, including the neck guard, that wouldn't be something people would say. They wouldn't say that it has the neck guard, it's uncomfortable, it doesn't look good. I wanted to make sure that was the main priority. And when I first wore it, I was proud. I didn't feel anything, and it looked well.
Buddy, I love it. So I'm taking notes here from what you're saying because you're making me think of so much. Number one, on neck guards. When I was your age, and Mike, you'll remember this, neck guards were like a gigantic sweaty sock. They were thick, and they had this off-color white. It was really weird, and they were very uncomfortable. So I love that you made that part of it. Number one, I wrote a bunch of notes here. You know, number one, you saw a problem and found a solution, and I love that. because not enough people do that. We just complain about the problem. We don't find solutions. Your brain goes towards making the solutions. The other thing too, I wrote down here is that, I was thinking about this when I know the incident you're talking about. We all do. That young man lost his life early last season due to a unfortunate accident, right? And understandably, hockey parents were scared and they were angry. But I love that a solution to this is coming from you. It didn't come from the adults. It came from you, and obviously working with your father. But that just shows you the creativity, and that, a young man such as yourself, you have ideas too. You have creativity too. Of course, the leading aspect, the leadership comes from you. I don't think we look to you and your age group enough for answers sometimes. And I love that you did this. Another question I wanted to ask, and I'm going to bring this up, and Mike, Mike and I talk about this a lot of these episodes. Christy, you'll remember this too. You said that you have an hour-long drive with your dad to get to the rink. We've talked about it on the show before. One of the most important aspects, I think, of youth hockey for me was rides with my dad. I got all this extra time with my dad. We had amazing conversations in the car, right? Sometimes it was about life. Sometimes it was good. Sometimes it was bad. You guys created a business together, which I love, right? So talk to me a little bit about what it means to you to be able to do this with your dad, but how important those rides are from your point of view as a kid. Because we talk about it as parents all the time, right? You're actually the first under 18-year-old we've had on the show, right? So how important are those rides to you?
Well, obviously they're very important. I know my dad's done a lot for me to play hockey, and recently being an hour away, I used to be 20 minutes away, now an hour away. Obviously, that's something big in the beginning of the year. And, when we were talking, we would talk about hockey. When it's a full hour, we would talk about hockey. He would remind me just what to do before the ice. And after the games, we would just, after games and practices, we'd talk, what to get better on the business side. We would talk about that. And we would just say what you said, just normal conversations. And the fact that I was able to do that with him the whole year, and the long drives we did to New Jersey, I'm glad I was able to do that, because this year it's only going to be a 15-minute drive. I'll still be able to talk to him as much, but it'll be quicker for sure.
Yeah, well, I love it, man. And I'll tell you that from my own time playing, I remember some big games. I do. I remember a lot of, but I remember those drives with my dad and my parents, and they were really important to me. And now listen, go back to the product. And Mike, I'm going to throw it to you here for a minute. One of the things I love about this story is that there's different ways to be involved with the game, right, Mike? And we always talk about this, is that parents and kids are so focused on the game. Here's a family that has gone beyond that, right, Mike? It's just a totally different experience.
Yeah. So first of all, Martin, I mean, I'm sure your parents tell you how proud they are of you and your friends and family. But I mean, this group, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, the fact that, like Lee said, you saw a problem. There is a solution out there. I like the fact that you researched the fact that, okay, yeah, other people have this equipment out there, but is it really priced to a place where everyone can wear it? And it's not. And I think that's, it's really great that you're able to go out, research this stuff, find it, design it yourself. It looks great. Can't wait to see it on you this year. But I think that's some of the stuff we talk about all the time, that there's so many different paths in hockey, and not all of them lead to the NHL. But did you think about what you're doing right now, whether you play high level hockey or not? And it sounds like you're really progressing really well on your athletic hockey journey. But I mean, the fact that you get to influence, so many families. I've been coaching, over 40 years, and having the opportunity to see a young man go out and find a solution to a problem that happens every day, right? We only hear about the real tragic accidents, but this happens every day. Children get cut in the neck, they get hit with pucks. I remember I had a player in practice, if he didn't have a neck guard on and he got hit with a puck in the neck, he really would have been much worse without that neck protection. And I think you bring a good point that, Hockey Canada is mandating these neck guards, and something, we should all be mandating here in the US. So it sounds like, if we had maybe a better product, Lee brought it up. I remember my first neck guard was a white cotton neck guard with, right. I think it had steel rings in it, almost like a dog collar. And it it wasn't really wasn't really fun to wear. So it
Didn't
sounds
look
like
good either. It didn't look good at all. Yeah.
Right. And nobody wants anything that doesn't look good. But I think that for when your situation, you're helping players look good, but be protected. And I like the two-tone. I like the fact that it's standing out where the protection areas are. And like you said, if you like it and you feel comfortable wearing it, then that says a lot for any young athlete that's coming up through the game. So, well, number one, congratulations. And number two, yeah. And number two, just I think that ingenuity and being able to go and think outside the box about a problem and be a part of the hockey community is got to be really, really nice. And it must be a fun journey so far.
And what kind of feedback are you getting, Martin? I know you said you tried it out. You like it. You like how it looked. Have you had friends try it out? Have you given people who you don't know an opportunity to give it a test run?
Well, currently I only have these shirts with the supplier. It's only samples. It's only some that I've worn. But recently, after tryouts, really it's just spring leagues, and my friends, I gave them stickers and they put them on their helmets. So that's something nice. Obviously, I've been giving stickers to school friends. They're putting on their phone cases. They're texting me that they're asking people what it is. And just this week, when I went to get my jersey measured at a pro shop, a local one, they were looking at the products and they were really interested. They were pointing out how not only is it expensive, there's a shortage going on and they're not able to get a lot of stuff. And seeing what we had, it's really nice. And when we're at the hockey rink, I go just once or twice a week for spring league. And when people ask us what it is, and when I give away stickers, I know that the community's growing because it's something I really want for Duzter, a nice hockey community.
Yeah, you're doing some grassroots marketing there. We got to get you on Shark Tank now.
He's on Shark Tank right now. He doesn't realize it, but you're on Shark Tank right now.
That's it.
And I'm not out. I'll tell you that right now. No, Martin, I'll tell you this too. For those of you listening, one of the things I love about you is you're wearing Duzter hoodie. Is that a Duzter hat too? I'm looking at, yeah.
Good for you.
You're very well branded already. I'm going to be honest with you. I think you're going to kill it with this. And I'm not just saying that. I like you. I like the product. I like the attitude. I like the passion. I like the story. And I think you're creating something that no one else can. And I think what you're going to have to deal with is kicking Bauer and CCM saying, no, this is my product. And I'm going to be the one who's marketing this to everybody. Here's a question I have to ask. Tell me about the name Duzter. And where did that come from? I mean, I have my own guesses, but I want to hear it from you.
Okay, so the name Duzter, first off, is positive before I start. But during the COVID season, I followed this hockey account on Instagram, and they had shirts, and there was a shirt that was just Duzter with an S.
Right.
Now, for those hearing, Duzter is not a positive name in the hockey language, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that it was a completely different word. Adding the Z, it's positive. It's something that you have the sportsmanship in your team, that you're with your teammates, that you support them. And that's what Duzter means. Duzter is something completely positive, and it's for the growth of hockey.
So two things. I love that you corrected me because I don't want to be saying that wrong. I said Duzter is perfect. And I love this twist on that. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, so I'm having flashbacks to my young, the players, Sean McVay and CJ Blaska and Andy Kerjack, who played for me growing up in high school, that actually went out and designed and came up with the company Hoser Hockey.
Right.
It was funny how these guys, it was, I remember back then, where, there were a lot of friends and they got together and they had a lot of support group. And I'm just wondering from you, obviously you have your dad and you have the car rides and you're speaking there, but what other support do you have around you about the product and moving forward? I mean, obviously people in school must love this. You mentioned you were in scouts. Where do you get your inspiration and kind of your drive to continue to go after, developing a product like this?
Well, obviously not only my dad, but my whole family in general. And the drive I get from Duzter is that it's an actual hockey brand that my dad and I are making. And still, to me, it's hard to believe, because every year when you go to the pro shops, you see all of the cool brands, all the cool stuff, and you wish you could do some on your own. So what's driving me is the community, the Duzter community, seeing when we're giving away stickers, which is something we commonly do, seeing how people are actually interested, how people are going on the website. And they're the reason why I like doing it, because when the products are out and the community for Duzter, it's not you're just a buyer, you're an actual person of the community. And that's something I like. We're just starting, and the support we're getting, that moves me forward. That's something I like, the amount of support I'm getting from school, from my family, from the people at the ice rink, and from people maybe I don't know. Those are the people who make me go forward. And in our future, we have our social media platforms, all Duzter Hockey, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And from there is the website where you could put your email in to subscribe, because in August, we're going to launch our Kickstarter. And that's where, if you're not in the Duzter community yet, you could join to be a part of the Duzter community. And that's how we want you to feel. We want you to feel that you're actually a part of Duzter, that you're not just buying a hockey brand and wearing it, that you're a part of the brand. We want you to feel that way. And after the Kickstarter, we expect it to be a success. By the winter of the season, our products to be out in pro shops.
Kid, you're nailing it.
Yeah. So one thing I'll say is there isn't a family in the United States or Canada or Sweden or Norway that, when you mention the fact that these are only out there for adults, the fact is really the cuts and the accidents happen with our youngest kids. Right. And there is no product out there for them. I mean, if you watch an 8U practice, and you've seen this growing up, right, Martin, there's more blades flying around in an 8U practice around people's wrists and Achilles and necks and, shoulders and forearms than anywhere. You hardly ever see in a Bantam game. And so I think it's unbelievable that you're finding that huge void in the market right now. And that's for a comfortable solution to outfitting our children in a place where, most vulnerable are. They're probably, you think about kids, right? And they're probably, as they're growing, they're outgrowing their equipment. They're probably not as protected as you are right now as a 14U, 16U hockey player. And they're actually on the ice more around blades than any pro athlete or any college athlete is. So I think it's really unbelievable how you've really found a way to, bring not only your passion, the need, and then comfort and size all in one. It's unbelievable. It's really cool. And I'm actually marking this down and looking forward to seeing that Kickstarter start and watching your journey.
Yeah, Martin, real quick, we're not done yet, but make sure that you tell us where can people go right now? Tell them the website again, tell them what you're planning on doing real quick. And make sure you guys pause this audio and go do this, because this kid's on to something. He's on to something. I'm going to say it again. I love this didn't come from an adult. And I hate that it's such an obvious solution that I didn't think of, Martin. I'm going to stand my hand on that. But no, tell us where people can go to learn more about you right now. And then we'll keep the interview going.
Well, currently I have 3 main social media sites: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Duzter Hockey. The one where it receives most updates is Instagram currently. And once you're there, all of the bios have the link to our actual website, which is Duzter.com. And once you click on it, it's going to ask you to subscribe, and you put your email. The reason I recommend it is because you'll receive updates from Duzter, and you'll receive updates when the Kickstarter opens and when stuff in the future opens. And there, right now, I only showed armored products. There at the website, you can see more about myself, about my dad and I. You could list contact if you have any questions. But more importantly, you can see the Duzter Skin, which is a compression shirt, which has no cut resistant, and also accessories, the shirt, the jacket I'm wearing. So on the website, you can see a lot more product information of Duzter. But once again, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Duzter Hockey.
And it's DUZTER hockey.com, correct? I'm going to make sure people know that. I got another question for you. And then I want to talk to you about the NHL. I don't think you're the only young man out there with ideas like this. I think there's a lot of kids out there that have ideas with this. And I think that the powers that be, might even be their parents, might say, it's not worth the time to do that. What is your advice to any young man out there, a young woman that has an idea or a business idea that they think is worth pursuing?
Well, when you have an idea, first just write it down just in case you go back to it. But most importantly, if you think it's going to be a good idea, it probably will. I recommend showing it obviously to parents and family friends, because if they say it's a good idea, eventually they'll see, it could actually be something. But just don't stop thinking. For the whole year, my dad would always mention, if only we had our own business, because from when COVID started, I started a jersey business of just reselling jerseys on eBay. And ever since that, he started doing it. And with that money, that's really what helped us start Duzter, with the money from that.
Wow.
And every time he would just say, if only we had our own thing. And now the fact that we have it, just don't stop thinking.
I love it, man. Don't be afraid to dream. Don't be afraid to fail. What's lovely about this, buddy? I'm going to say it again. I think you're going to do great with this. Even if it doesn't, you're learning so much from these experiences that are going to do you so well, past high school. And the time with your dad is so valuable. And I'm sure your mother and your family too. It's just, that's what I love most about the story is, Christy, as you said, homegrown, right? It's funny, Martin, being on the other side of it as a parent now. It's the time with my kids that I value more than even the game. And I love the game, right? All right, let's do some rapid fire NHL questions. We have to do this. I'm not going to have you on here and not talk about the NHL. So first off, favorite NHL team?
Washington Capitals.
Right. Get eliminated every year, but you had 18, so I'm going to give you that. No, listen, Washington Capitals, favorite player?
Well, favorite player, it's not in the Capitals, not Ovi. It's Clayton Keller from the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh, no way. That's an awesome pick. Yeah, no, I've actually spoken with him, believe it or not. It's okay that Ovechkin's not your favorite. It doesn't have to be everybody in the league's favorite, him and Crosby, right? There's other players out there, guys. There's lots of other players in the league. Claude Giroux is a great player. He plays for Florida. We don't need to talk about that. All right. Let me ask you this. If you're listening to this in the future, it is 2022. We are in the second round of the NHL playoffs. Your pick for the Stanley Cup final, or just the Stanley Cup winner? I'm putting you on the spot, and I'm going to use this audio against you forever, Martin. If you're wrong, I am going to find you. I'm going to show everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Who do you think is going to win the cup this year?
Well, I'll go Colorado.
A good pick. It's a solid pick.
Oh, that's too easy. That's too easy.
Yeah. Mike, who's your pick, huh?
My pick was the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, that's still a little sore for a lot of people. So Colorado, huh? What you like the makeup of that team?
Yeah. I mean, the Blues, they just lost that game. They look competitive. Personally, Makar and McKinnon were the main jerseys I would buy and resell. So that's the reason. But I think they could go to the final against the Rangers.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, that's my pick too. I picked Rangers against Colorado, and the Rangers will fall in 6 to Colorado. Christy, do you have any thoughts on this year's playoffs?
I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning girl just because of the Syracuse crunch. It's my allegiance.
That's fair. And you've won 2 cups in a row. You can share it with the rest of us. It doesn't always have to be. Yeah. And then last question, buddy. Again, I wanted to, your dad told me you were at the first ever Vegas Golden Knights game, right? Can you tell us about that real quick?
Well, first, that was about 4 or 5 years ago. My birthday was around that time, and my dad took me the Saturday of the Monday or Tuesday, a couple of days before, to Las Vegas. And since it was one of my first times to the West, my family and I would go to 2 of those Cirque du Soleils, very popular. But since it started at 7 and over here it would be at 10, I had to get used to that jet lag. I fell asleep sometimes during them. But the day of the game, I was staying at the New York, right next to the T-Mobile Arena. Hockey, I still think, wasn't as recognized as it is today. The other day I saw that the hockey in Vegas has increased 98%, something like that, ever since the hockey team. And we were just walking around. We saw the Vegas Golden Knight podcast, and they said that they were practicing. Their practice facility was like 20, 30 minutes away. We had an Uber there, and their practice facility, I haven't seen it, but the first time I went, it was nice. They had 2 ice rinks. The Golden Knights were practicing. Caps practices are really packed, and there's barely anyone there.
At the
the
mall,
players
right?
were they were walking around, and I got to take pictures of some of them. But when they were, I didn't know that there was a red carpet, but there was their little red carpet, and I got to meet all of the players, and they all signed my hat. I was so happy, and it wasn't even that crowded. It was just a straight line. I'm glad that everyone walked up, signed my stuff, and then at the game, that was at the time during when the shooting happened. So they paid tribute to the firefighters, to the police officers, and seeing how everyone there came to see that, to respect the Dig is Strong and all of that. It was a great experience, and the place was new at the time, still is, but it was just opened. It was a great experience. I'm glad my dad took me. And if it were today, I honestly think it would have been completely different. I think there would be more people, it'd be more packed. And now, back then they had the expansion team, and now they've just been trading for veterans, and it would be different.
It's an amazing moment the day you realize that you're going to love this game the rest of your life. And I remember it very well as well. And that story obviously comes full circle, because who beat them in the Stanley Cup final that year?
The
Washington Capitals, right? So that was an amazing year for you. Martin, listen, before we close, I'm going to say this. I think you're an amazing human being. You are incredibly well-spoken. You're incredibly respectful. You clearly think about others. You are thankful for the things that you have in your life. It is refreshing to see. And I think that, everybody grows up at different rates, but to see a 14-year-old young man like you gives me massive hope for our future, not just in hockey. So I want to congratulate you on this product. Duzter, I almost said Duzter again. DuzterHockey.com. I love the relationship that you have with your family. And I want to thank you for being here tonight. I am inspired by you, man. I think you're a future leader. I know you are. I know you're a future leader. And it is really awesome to see. I mean that, man.
Thank you.
Christy, Mike, anything before I
I
close?
would love to see this shirt one more time. If you could hold that up, I'd like to get a good look at that.
Yeah.
And think about this, parents. This could save your kid's life. Okay, it's not just a cool looking shirt. Be a lifesaver. So there've been a lot of close calls over the years that I've seen. My daughter got cut right on the chin, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it was so close to her neck. They take, and don't think your kid isn't going to get hurt, because they will. Hockey hurts, and this could save them. So yeah, absolutely. Great job, Martin. It's a pleasure and honor to meet you. What a kid. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, congratulations. And, we're going to be rooting for you for sure. Watching the progress of Duzter and the neck guards and the undergarments. And I think, like you're saying, certainly the piece where you have you said the most important part was just the ability to hold your socks up. Hopefully you got to find a good Velcro dealer, because I think that's always a bone of contention with every player I know. But congratulations. I'm hoping we'll see this product out there in the market in September, and look forward to seeing you launch your campaign.
Thank you.
So fantastic, Martin. And I do want to say this to all the people listening. If you or your kid has an idea as well, feel free to reach out to us, just like Martin and his father did. All right. And let us know what you're doing, because honestly, we want to promote. This is what the show is about. We want to help promote you. This was not an advertisement, this episode. This was encouragement, right? This is inspiration. I'm going to say it, Martin. I think it's one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. I love this.
For him or for us? For him or for
no, it's all
us?
about me. I'm not as selfless as him. I just care about myself, and I just want to feel good. No, for all of us, of course. This is fantastic. So again, Martin, thanks for being here. That's going to do it for this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. You can obviously find all of our episodes at ourkidsplayhockey.com or wherever podcasts can be heard. Make sure to check out Duzter Hockey, Duzter hockey.com, or all of the social media that Martin gave us today. But above all, friends and families, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful month, have a wonderful season, year, wherever you're at when you're listening to this. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great one. Oh, sorry, before I forget, for Christy Casciano Burns and Mike Benelli, I'm Lee Elias, and that's Martin. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.